You see how confusing that is? That's life at Hampton University. What is up, you guys? It's your girl Cianna Renee, and I'm back at it again with another video. So in today's video, it is another sit down, not too much, but I'm not in school right now, so I don't have much to vlog, but stay tuned. The vlogging content is definitely coming. But I decided to hit y'all with another college advice video. I know y'all love these. So in today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys what I wish I knew before attending a private HBCU. There's a lot of stuff throughout my tenure at Hampton University that I realized that only goes on at private schools or HBCUs, and the only reason I know is because I have family that don't go to HBCUs or didn't go to HBCUs. I have friends that go to public HBCUs, so I know the difference. I felt like this is the perfect video to do. But before y'all watch this one, I'm gonna need you to pause and go to my HBCU playlist or my Hampton University playlist, and I have a bunch of college advice videos for y'all. I have the tea on Hampton, y'all love that video. College dorm essentials. I have how I got into Hampton. I have my what I wish I knew before applying to an HBCU, which I did right before I went to Hampton. So check out all of that. My growth on this channel has been great, and I just feel like the more I grow, the more I have to give y'all advice on the schools that I go to. So, and I'm about to graduate. I graduate next year. Next year at this time, I will be on the verge of graduating from college. So I feel like I have enough experience to let you guys know anything. And of course, I'll keep these videos going. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I don't want to make this intro too long because we low-key got a lot to get into. So if y'all like and enjoyed today's video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, comment down below, hit that post notification bell, hit the subscribe button, and follow me on all my social medias. The links to all of them will be in the description box below. And I hope y'all enjoyed today's video, and let's hop straight into it. So first things first, everybody knows, top of the list, the Hampton Runaround. This is something that I know goes on at other schools because other HBCUs talk about it all the time. Every school has a runaround, every black school at least. And the runaround is basically you go somewhere and you ask them where something is or where can you find out a particular piece of information. Then they tell you to go to A, and then A tells you to go to B, and then B tells you to go to C, and then C tells you to go back to A, then A brings you back to where you first started. You see how confusing that is? That's life at Hampton University. I've been through it many times, but as much as I don't like it, I know that if I go to any other HBCU, 9 times out of 10, the same problem is gonna happen. It's just a matter of the unorganization at the school, but it doesn't take away from the experience, which is why I'm gonna teeter-totter between good and bad. So that was a bad, but it's not too bad. It's something you don't go through it every day. It's just when you need a certain piece of information, you really have to press people. They know you're students, so they're not really gonna take you seriously, as opposed to your parents coming up to the school. They don't answer the phone. Financial aid do not answer the phone. They do not aid you over the phone, I swear. So don't expect for your parents to be getting a call back. You're gonna have to go to the office, Whipple Barn, and like I said, you're a college student. They may not take you as seriously as an adult. Not to say that you're not an adult, but compared to your parents who are actually paying, or even if you are paying, they take adults more seriously for some reason. But even so, my mom has difficulty when she comes down here. Like I said, it doesn't take away from the experience. It's just difficult in terms of trying to get answers right away. You're never gonna really get answers right away. Let me not say never. You will eventually or sometimes, but for the most part, it's gonna take some time and persistence. The culture shock. So one thing I love about Hampton that I experience is culture shock. When I come back home to my friends here, I realize how different my friends back in Hampton are, because they're from Kentucky, Chicago, California, Florida, the DMV, all these places Texas, all these places that I've never been to. I've been to Florida, but I haven't been outside the East Coast. So seeing the different regions all come together and seeing how different we all are in the way we talk, I'll say certain words and they'll look at me what does that mean? One word is jacking. In New York, we say jacking a lot, but to other states, they're what are you talking about? Even in Jersey, Jersey people don't even understand what jacking means, and they're part New York, which I feel like they just love to say. I've met so many different people, and I became a lot more open-minded being at Hampton, because I realized that not everybody was raised just like you, so everybody's opinion is gonna be different. And even if y'all agree on some things, for the majority, you're not gonna always agree with these people, and it doesn't necessarily mean you don't like them or you don't mess with them, but it's the reality of it. Like, we're not gonna always agree on things, and even if we do, there's still gonna be slight differences or discrepancies between things that we're talking about. So there's always going to be a difference in opinion. You can't avoid that. But that's the thing I love about an HBCU, because as I got older, like freshman year, it may have been difficult because it's like, okay, I feel like this is weird. But then when you get older, you mature, you realize that some people just are different, so you can't really help it. Attitudes from faculty. Now this actually irritates me so y'all, the people in that office do not have a social life. Like, they're just so disrespectful sometimes. And it's like, I'd be so nice. Like, and I'm talking about CAF workers. I'm talking about financial aid office. I'm talking not everywhere. Like, the teachers are cool. Some of them, most of them, in my experience. But there are people that when you enter, from off rip, they look at you dirty. Like, it's just, you make it seem like you did something wrong to them. So that's one thing I don't like, is the attitude sometimes. But then you have to realize that this is the real world. Like, you gotta grow up. There are some people that are just not gonna be nice, and that's life. Like, you're gonna enter many corporate offices or many areas in your field of interest where people just don't like people. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't really like people. I'm not saying I don't actually not like people, but I'm just saying, like, even if you're in like your job and you're like miserable that day, or your cramps hurt, or whatever the case may be, because sometimes your first impression isn't always what the person actually is like. Even if I'm somewhere I don't want to be, or I don't feel well, or it's just a bad day, I'm never gonna let my energy reflect that when I'm talking or meeting new people. Like, I never want that to be my first impression. Now, not everybody understands that, which goes back to the culture shock and experiencing different people from different places. Not everybody was taught to put a smile on your face even if you're having a bad day. Me personally, that's what I do. Now, if I'm in an area where I just don't like people and you're one of the people, I may not have a smile on my face. I'm never gonna have an attitude with people that I don't know, or like people that I'm first meeting, or people that need help. And I just feel like that's the attitudes that I get from the faculty at Hampton University sometimes. This is not to throw shade at the school, because like I said, I go here, it's my third year. Clearly I enjoy the school, but it's just, those are just some things that I picked up on that you have to kind of like, maneuver around at this school. And to be honest, as much as I don't like that aspect, it really prepares you for reality. Like I said, there's going to be times when you enter a building and people just off rip give you a nasty attitude. You just have to know how to deal with it. So the difference between private and public schools versus private and public campuses. So a private school is obviously a school that is not funded by the government. Hampton University is a private school. I believe Howard University is a private school. I believe so. Howard is a private school, I think. Yes, Howard is a private school. So like schools like that are schools that are not funded by the government, but strictly donations, endowments, money from alumni, your checks, your tuition. That's a private school. Now, a private campus is one like, I would say Hampton University is a private campus. Anyone can walk on the campus, but you can't park everywhere. You can't drive inside past the security booth without showing ID or some sort of like identification. So in that sense, Hampton University is a private school with a private campus, whereas, and it's also in the middle of nowhere. Like, as soon as you exit the campus, you have to get on the highway, no matter which way you go, front, left, right, like it don't matter. Now Howard, from the videos that I watched when I originally wanted to attend Howard, like before I went to college, I was told that Howard is a public campus. And when I visited the school, I can tell, because literally anyone can walk on at any time, anyone can drive on the campus at any time. It's just one of those schools where it's like, you can have grown men sitting in front of your dorm. Like, and I'm only giving that example because I've heard a girl from Howard like years ago say that, you know, sometimes you get catcalled at your dorm by like grown men who just come on the campus to talk to college girls, like stuff like that. Now you have to be prepared for that with whatever school you go to, because a party, like an off-campus event, which you 9 times out of 10 will be going to, especially your freshman year or like when you have a car. So, you know, you will be running into grown men who probably will try to, you know, get at you, but you just have to learn how to just not engage. Especially homecoming, no matter where you are, you're gonna be interacting with grown people who probably went to the school or who know people that went to the school, and they're just gonna be trying to get at the young college girls, unfortunately. So you have to deal with that anywhere. But in terms of a regular day on campus, anybody can enter on Howard's, but like a campus like Hampton, you can't really do that. It's all on your preference. I personally don't enjoy that. I have to look at those differences. So like Hampton being a private school with a private campus, Howard being a private school with a public campus, NCAT being a public school with, I don't know if NCAT's campus is public or private, but just look into all those things because those are important when it comes to the school that you want to go to. Some people may enjoy Howard being a public campus because you can let anybody on, or like you're from the city like me, it may not be something that really scares you that much. It wasn't something that really scared me, I would say, but it's just a matter of how my mom felt about it, and then from the long run how I would feel about it. I'm also not sure if public campuses allow IDs to get into your dorm or if you don't have to, because I know for Hampton's campus, all the dorms, you need your ID to get in. So not even people who live on campus, if they don't live in your dorm, they won't be able to get in. So like stuff like that, I don't know if it's the same at public campuses or if anybody could just walk in, but I doubt that. At the same time, that's kind of crazy, just letting anybody walk into the dorms where the students live. But yeah, just make light of that in your decision. Financial aid office issues. I don't really feel like I even have to go into this. Like, y'all know, like, financial aid just be pissing everybody off. There's nothing about aid in financial aid. Like, I don't understand who they choose, who they hire in those offices, but the attitudes, the runarounds, like all those things that I mentioned earlier in the video, it's mainly directed at the financial aid office. Like, and then sometimes they be messing you up. And I'm not saying that that's happened to me, but I know for other people, like even at other schools, like financial aid is just not aiding at all. This is not just a private HBCU thing. This is a public school thing, just in general, like college, like college, university, don't matter. You're gonna experience issues with financial aid. Anytime you see somebody walk in that office, just know there's not a smile on their face, like at all. You don't see nobody in that office teeth, like that works behind the counter, students, you don't see nobody's teeth, like nobody's smiling in there, because truthfully, ain't nothing funny when you walk in that office. One prime example is an issue that occurred this year, actually, this semester. Well, last semester now, because it's a new year. But my ID stopped working at the CAF, and I kept having to go to the financial aid office, and they would press a couple buttons, and then it'll work again at the CAF, and then a couple days later, be at the CAF again, don't work. Go back to the financial aid office, press a couple buttons, it works. Then I go back to the CAF a couple days later, it don't work. And it's just that back and forth that was very irritating. But I knew I wasn't the only student going through this, because I kept having to sign a list of students who didn't have their ID working. So we would all have our names there. It'll have our ID number and the time, like the lunch period it was, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner. But I knew that was pretty irritating and annoying, just constantly having to go back to the financial aid office for the same issue, knowing that it wasn't on my part, because my money was paid. My mom paid that money. It was just the matter of the ID not working for some reason. Like, I had my meal plan, I was solid, and they checked, everything was good. The ID just kept not working. So, but yeah, just know that there's gonna be issues that you're gonna have to keep going back to them for. Because let me tell you one thing, at one point, after about the 4th or 5th time going to that office about my ID, it worked for the rest of the semester. So you really just have to keep pressing them about certain stuff. The next thing I realized while being at a private HBCU is how much I love Black people. I just had to write this on the list. Like, I love my people, y'all. Like, I appreciated myself a lot more, especially in a society that doesn't make me feel like that, being a Black woman. So being surrounded by a bunch of other Black women and just Black people, I feel like made my experience even better, because I can't imagine going to a school that doesn't have people that look like me. Like, just being the majority feels so good, and just to know that like I get a taste of what it feels like to be proud, like be black and be proud, like at a school that really accepts me. Not to say that I didn't know what it felt like to be black and be proud before then, but it's really something that is highlighted at a HBCU. And I also enjoy that like I'm able to come back home and get reminded that there's still issues in this world, because I feel like that's another issue that can happen, is you can go to an HBCU and feel like everything is perfect, black people live the life, and although that may be true, you never want to forget the societal issues the societal issues that still come into play. So it's not a lot of like black people outside of Hampton's campus in Hampton. So, and Hampton's a very small city, so it's not that big. Like, you drive a couple miles down and you're already in Newport News. So yeah, like there are certain things that's just like I am reminded of as soon as I exit the campus. Like, I don't even have to go that far. Like, if I'm going to Target. But it also made me appreciate my race even more, because when I went to Hampton's campus and I like lived there and I experienced and I go to different things, I realized how great we all are. And Hampton does so well with highlighting, or just HBCUs in general do so well with highlighting black students, and it makes me feel more confident. And just the people there themselves, like the black people that go to Hampton are just, they're just great. Like, and when I say great, I genuinely mean great people in their spirit and the way they present themselves. Like, there's some shady people there, I'm not gonna lie, there's definitely some shady people there, but for the most part I've met genuine people at Hampton. So, and I can't say anyone at that school is like a bad person. We may make wrong decisions, but we all do that. So yeah, but I love this school. I also feel like my confidence thrived at an HBCU and my style changed tremendously. I love this one because I'm not gonna lie, I was not the same person I was in my senior year of high school. Like, I felt like my senior year of high school I was like really changing, I was really growing. My freshman year of college I felt the same way, and as much as I realized how far I've came from then, to the point where it's like, wow, I'm really a different person. And I know 5 years from now I'm gonna say the same thing about me now. So it's like, I realized how much my style has changed. I've become a lot more comfortable in my femininity, and I've learned that from the people that I surround myself with and the people that I see from a distance. Like, HBCUs, seeing the different styles and the different cultures, like, I was able to really tap into my femininity and like just my womanhood. The men and women at this school helped me realize that, because to be honest, New York don't really got that many gentlemen. So when I went to a school that really had guys who were genuinely just nice people, they didn't like me or nothing, they were just nice people, I realized it made me more comfortable being a girl. It made me more comfortable being a woman, rather than always fending for myself, or like always having to open the door for myself. Like, little things like that, as much as they're so minute, let me tell you something, every Hampton man is gonna hold that door for you. As much as it's something that's pushed on the campus to the point where the guys feel like they have to do it, the intention is there. Like, I have a lot of guy friends now who really treat women well, I would say that. Like, don't get me wrong, Hampton still got them dirtbags. I'm sorry, they do. For the most part, the people that I surround myself by, they all respect women. They have utmost respect for women. They treat everyone around them with kindness and respect and human decency, which is very rare, or was very rare when I was in high school. So it felt good to be surrounded by people like that. So it changed my perception on womanhood. It changed my perception on myself. And the women on this campus influenced my style, I would say too. Like, yes, I have my own style in the way that I dress, but for the most part, like, the new style that I'm currently developing is all the influence of what I've been surrounded by these 4 years at Hampton, or 3. Low funding. Now, this is something that is specifically at a private HBCU, not just Hampton, but any private HBCU. Low funding is very hard to get over. The reason being is because when you're not funded by the government, the school really relies on alumni, celebrities who donate, and you to pay for the school, to pay for any changes. So that's why it's very difficult to get things to be changed at a private school, because they're not getting their money from anybody else but you and other people that went to the school. Relying on endowments and students doesn't provide much. Now, a school like Howard, who gets all the endowments in the world by celebrities, is another story. But Hampton, as popular as the HBCU may be or may seem, we don't get $1 million. Like, we don't get the same amount of money as Howard does. So just having money, just relying on students and alumni and endowments is very difficult. I've gotten scholarships from endowments, which have been very helpful. So like alumni or like random scholarships that just give me money, those are like endowments for me. I've gotten about 2, I believe. So things like that, cool, great, awesome. But at the same time, for the school itself to prosper and generate, it takes a lot longer when you don't have money given to you by the government. Whereas a school like NCAT may have like all the money in the world to have the big football stadiums, to have the nice student lounge area, student center. Hampton, as great as the campus is, as pretty as the campus is, you'd be shocked to find out that it's a private school. I mean, you could tell by like the football field. The football field is not as big compared to other schools. I'll put a comparison on the screen between like NCAT's football field and Hampton so you can really see the difference. But also, schools that take a lot more students are able to afford that. If they take a lot of students, then it's like, okay, they kind of need, and they also have the money from the students to make the campus bigger or to fit suitably for the incoming students. Black excellence, it's a given at any HBCU, private or not. Like, it's a given that you're going to see Black excellence. It's so pronounced on a Black campus. Like, it's so shined. Like, it's amazing. Like, the light is there. It's very motivating. One main thing that it helped me realize is it posed the question, what is your more? And I always say that, implying that like when I was in high school, I had the AP classes, the honors classes. I was one of like 2, 3 Black students in the class. No more than 5 Black students were in my honors classes. So I felt like being Black was enough in my achievements because I didn't see a lot of people that looked like me, so it felt like an accomplishment. But when I got to an HBCU and I saw that not only were Black students succeeding in their classes, but they were also starting Black-owned businesses and Black organizations, Black-led organizations, I was like, okay, what else do I bring to the table besides just being a Black woman who does good in class? Because everybody here seems to be doing that already. Yeah, girl, you need to find it. That's what motivated me, and I feel like that's what really catapulted me to join so many clubs and organizations and build my resume, because I saw that like my skin color was not my superpower. It sounds weird, it does sound weird, because like being Black is great, yes, but it's like being Black isn't what makes me special. It's something that is a common misconception in our community, because we always settle for less because we came from not much, generally speaking, of course. But for the most part, our community, it's very difficult for us to accomplish and achieve success because of the way America puts us down. So sometimes we feel like little is enough for us. But when I came to HBCU, I realized that there's so many Black people who are great, and it kind of puts you in competition, low-key. So, and not competition in like a bad way, but in a motivating way, to where it's like, okay, these people do all of this while being good in school, I can do the same. And that doesn't mean you're gonna follow everything that they do, but you're gonna use it as motivation to make your own path, make your own great path. It's very motivating and humbling, and it made me realize that my skin color was not gonna be my gateway. Like, there's so many other things about me that makes me special besides being Black. So as great as I love being a Black woman, power to the people, I have more to my plate on my resume besides being African American. So yeah, I want that to be something that y'all realize too. It's not always about being Black. You have to have something else, and being at HBCU will help you realize that. Now, this one's a little messy. The Black elite stigma. I'll state my opinion, what I feel, but this is very messy because some students, if you don't know what the Black elite stigma is, some students feel like, from my perception, it's from Black students who feel like other Black students get caught up in this elite mindset and they tend to overachieve. That's kind of how I see what it is. Now, this is especially at private HBCUs or private institutions where Black students come from high income households. So it makes other Black students feel like, okay, y'all are just like elite Black people. Y'all aren't used to the struggle. There's also like the amount of clubs that you're in, how much stuff you do at the school. Some Black students feel like, okay, you're just overachieving. You want to seem like you're just this elite person. I have two sides of the story to this. I have two sides of the line to this. Number one, I see where they're coming from. I didn't do Jack and Jill and all that stuff. Like, those are the type of students that attend Hampton. It's a lot of components to this, but the main component I want to focus on is like Black students who tend to quote unquote overachieve. I feel like generational wealth is important. And I feel like a lot of the parents who went to Hampton, because Hampton has a lot of legacies, a lot of parents who went to Hampton created that generational wealth for their children who now attend Hampton, passing down the benefits of your success to your children. And I feel like that's the goal. Like, everybody's goal is to make sure that they provide well and live comfortably and not just survive when it comes to their success and when they get older in their endeavors, whether they have kids or not. Then at the same time, it's like I can see the overachieving aspect of it, because I feel like in some way I've probably got caught up in the overachieving. I kind of feel like I have to do great because so many other students are doing more. And I don't feel like it's a bad thing. That's another thing. I feel like things always have to be negative sometimes when it comes to Black students at HBCU. Like, what if I just want to be great? What if it ain't about being elite? Like, what if I just want to be great and I want to do so many things to have on my resume so that I can be successful? I feel like there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like some people see it as a threat. And some people also just see it as like, oh, you're just doing the most because you want to be seen, you want attention, you want to feel like this Black elite person. Like, being Black and elite, the two words together isn't a bad thing. I feel like it's a great thing. It produces generational wealth. It produces success, achievements in anything in life, because as Black people, we do have to work 10 times harder to get what we want in America. But at the same time, some people are more so on the edge where it's like, you don't have to do all of this. And I feel like they may see it as something where you're trying too hard to be great when you don't have to do all of these elements to stand out. But at the same time, some people for some reason feel like it's a bad thing or it's a negative thing. Some people feel like it's a bad thing or a negative thing because they feel like you don't always have to overplay your part at school. You do enough and you should feel like that's enough. But then other people are like, it's never enough. There's no limit to success, which is where I'm at. At the same time, I do see the other side, because you don't have to overachieve all the time. Like, you don't have to be a part of 10 different clubs in order to be great at your school, which is something I feel like people get caught up in. Now, I'm not in 10, I'm in like 6. But I see where the energy may come from with that. It's like, you don't have to overstress yourself to be great, because you can be a part of 3-4 clubs, do your schoolwork, get good grades, and still be great. From that perspective, sometimes people feel like Black people have to do so much at their school, where it's like, okay, you already have the resources here, you already do enough. Why are you trying to do more? As much as I understand it, I always feel like I said, success has no limits. So it's all on how you take it, your perception. But that stigma is very messy. It's talked about a lot on campus. I've talked about it with my friends so much, but the Black elite stigma is a very controversial topic. Moving on. Next, I love the small campus of a private HBCU. Not a lot of students go to the school. Everybody's bound to be family. Everyone knows each other. Everyone has mutuals. Like, it's very family-like. And I love that about Hampton because it makes me feel more comfortable. But there's some sides to this. This is a positive and a negative, because the positives are like the family-like, the close-knit atmosphere. Like, that feels good. But then it also is a little cliquey. It's a little cliquey. Everybody has their little groups of people, like SLP, Student Leadership Program. They all hang out with each other. Then you got the band people. Then you got the film people. Then you got the athletes. Then you got all the people that's in the Student Government Association and all like the students that want to be lawyers and government people. Got them. You got the party people that just party, barely do work. You got all the different the different cliques. Now you can be a part of multiple cliques. Like I'm in the band clique and I'm in this film clique. And then you got the black elite students, the students who are in multiple different things, know everybody. Then you got the people that are a little bit more quiet, more timid, don't really do much. It's a lot. You got the theater majors. They all hang out together. Like it's because it's so small, you're able to just have your little groups of people and it be very noticeable from the outside, I guess you can say. At the same time, you can't share everything with everyone because it's close-knit, which means your close friend might have another close friend who she's gonna tell what you said to her, and then that person also has another close friend, so it's just gonna go around. And I've learned that especially with band, because band people talk. And I say band people because I'm in the band, but I know all the other little cliques talk within their circle too. Small enough to where your business will get around. People in relationships, they gonna tell their boyfriend, they gonna tell their girlfriend, no matter if they swore to secrecy or not. So you gotta pick your poison. Don't tell all your business to everyone, even your closest people, because you never know who they're close to enough to be like, okay, I'm gonna tell her. Because some people, it's like, oh, like she's like a sister to me, like I really like talk to her all the time, so I was gonna tell her. Or that's my man, like we've been together for 3 years. Then they break up, and now that person know all your business and you don't even talk to them. All in all, I love the small campus vibe, I'm not gonna lie, because I come from a big city. I come from a big school, a school that had 4,000, a high school that had 4,000 students in it, so I know what it feels like to be in a big school. Hampton does have the same amount of students, but because it's a college, it's a lot smaller of a percentage compared to a high school having that many students in one building. There's benefits, but I like the difference. I like that I got to experience both. I think the rest of these are negative, not gonna lie. The school is very expensive. It's hard to get scholarships. Please try to find scholarships. Like, it's not easy, and I know from personal experience. I have endowments that helped me last year, so if you maintain your good grades and you're in different clubs and things like that, that will be your shoo-in for a lot of scholarships. Also, try to join things that give you scholarships. Like the band gives me 10,000 already. Well, not 10,000. I get a merit scholarship that's 10,000. The band gives me 5. Take advantage of those opportunities, but also don't just join stuff because it gives you money. I'm not in band because it gives me... For the most part, I'm in band because it helps my major too. Being in film and social media, content creation, all of that, that is what I love doing. So I do it for the band. Athletes, try to get in there. They will... Some of them be getting paid. Like, not only do they get scholarships, they get paid, like checks. So... lock in on them D1 schools. Yes, Hampton is D1. SGA, like the presidents and the vice presidents, the trustee, like they get paid. Try to do something with a teacher. I don't know, like help them be an assistant, because school is expensive. So you need to get money from every which way. Very traditional. Hampton is a very traditional school. No hats inside. Like, I'm not saying that's really one, but like they say they don't allow bonnets in the caf, but I've definitely seen people with bonnets in the caf. It has yet to move from its time. Like if you look at other schools, they've kind of like evolved. And I'm not saying Hampton didn't evolve. Of course the school evolved, but some of those traditional rules are still set in place. Prime example is for induction ceremonies for freshmen, one guy has to walk 2 girls on their arm. So it's like, okay, it hasn't produced any issues, obviously, but it may be an issue for you. It's hard to be influenced by people around you, good or bad. From the good aspect, like I said, Hampton has definitely made my confidence better and my style has changed a lot. But then also you can get influenced negatively too, and I've seen other people fall into like the drinking and the smoking and all of that stuff. So it's like you don't want to get caught up in that life, and it's very easy because like I said, Hampton is close-knit, it's very family-like, so it's very easy to get influenced by the people around you because everyone knows each other, everybody's so close. So make sure that if you are influenced, it's good influence, and steer away from the bad influence because you don't want to be that person that falls off track. Sometimes it feels like the money isn't going anywhere, certain things that haven't been fixed that you want to be fixed, and you feel like you pay 46K a year. Where is my money going? Why can't we get the things that we need or want on this campus as students? So yeah, that's definitely, there's something on the tip of my tongue. I can't think of it right now, but there's an issue. Certain renovations like Ogden Hall, it just looks like it was made in 1868. Like it just looks like Du Bois was in there. Like it has not changed. The same floors, like it just don't look like there's any difference. So things like that, you may feel like where's my money going? but there have been a lot of improvements. If y'all have any questions, let me know. But for the most part, I feel like stuff it's iffy with Hampton. Some things can be improved, some things won't be. Like, we got a new stadium, I believe it was my freshman year, spring semester, my freshman year is when they got the new seating in the stadium. So like, little things definitely get fixed, but then you feel like everything that's getting fixed is nothing you asked for. So it's like, okay, you want us to be happy, but everything you're fixing has nothing to do with the fixing that we want or need as students on this campus living here for 4 years. So now these 3 I got from friends. Thank you for helping me. But one person said the application process for clubs. This goes back to the Black elite stigma once again, so y'all can better understand it. But I asked her to explain a little bit more, and she said, like, every club, even like the major clubs or through Hampton, also require an application process and for some interviews. In high school, most clubs didn't require a process, and the ones you think wouldn't need one also require one. So I definitely feel this. I didn't have application processes in high school. Now, like, I know for my organizations that I'm in, there's always an application, there's always an interview. Unless you're on e-board, then you're automatically in, obviously. So things like that, I feel like that's a college thing though. I feel like that's just a normal college thing because it kind of preps you for the real world. But at Hampton, there's a lot of clubs that don't need an application. It's like, I like skating, I like cars, just put me in a car club. Like, unless the interview is just like, hey, can we just get to know you? So something like that I get, but like, why are we having a whole application process because I like cars and I want to be a part of your club? Now for my club, SFO, we're a lot smaller. We are slowly coming up, so some people just like to be a part of SFO because they know the name that we're building for ourselves, whereas them actually being interested. So that's why we have an application process. It's really just to make sure we know you have an interest in being a part of the organization in some way. You don't have to have experience, but just more so being interested, genuinely interested, because we've had 40 people in our club at one point and only 5 showed up to meetings. So we have to avoid that. So I understand application and interviews for that and just getting to know the people that are going to be in your organization, but for certain clubs it's like, I'm just interested. Why are you not just taking me? So I get that. Not much diversity for class options. This person said, like, I was expecting to have a lot more flexibility within my major curriculum, but the way my major is structured, I literally cannot take more than maybe 1 or 2 classes outside of my curriculum. They are a electrical engineering major, but this is most likely for all engineering majors. And I feel this. I feel for other students like this because I'm an English major. I can take all my classes at different times. Like, it doesn't matter for me. Of course I have my prereqs, but for the most part I can take all my classes. But for other students, it's like you get straight into your major, and I understand that sucks. I don't really know if it's the same at other schools. I know for theater majors or music majors, they jump right in. They don't take all the prereqs first. Like, they take all their major classes as soon as they start school, whereas for me, I have time to decide whether or not I want the major because I have 2 full semesters of prereqs. Well, I took 1 film class my spring semester of freshman year because I was ahead in English when I got to college. For the most part, I was able to take all my prereqs, which means by my sophomore year I was still able to decide if I really wanted to do film or if I wanted to switch out or do something close to similar. So like, engineering majors, theater majors, music majors who jump right in, it's very hard to just decide that you don't want to do this anymore, compared to creative majors where they have time to be undecided, or they have time to like decide whether or not they want to stay. Be particular about your major, and if you want to do something that jumps right in as soon as you get to college, be sure of it. Like, you can't drop out. And reminder that even if you feel like, oh, it's okay, I don't have to graduate on time, that's more tuition money. And last but not least, someone said that state schools will always have a better calendar. For example, longer breaks and off days. So I didn't really realize this because I always felt like my breaks were longer. I'm not sure if they were now that the person said that, because I really didn't pay attention that much. I was just on break. There are times where my friends are off and I'm not. I remember my freshman year, we actually started September 16th, and I feel like that was the longest summer I've ever had in my life. It probably was. But after that, we started having classes August 26th every year that I've been here. I feel like the May to August is that range is always the same. But then like winter breaks and spring break is always different. Like I never have the same spring break as my public school friends or even like other private school students. Like we all have different breaks. Take that into consideration when applying to private schools like Hampton, because you may not have or you will not have the same breaks as a lot of people. I feel like, I don't know, Hampton doesn't really make sense when it comes to stuff like that because we have midterms, Thanksgiving, finals week, and then Christmas break. I personally feel like we should have midterms, then finals, and then Thanksgiving all the way until after New Year's for break. And everybody feels like that. And I thought the bill was passed because people were talking about it. There were rumors that the bill was being passed, but it has yet to be passed. And it's like, it's such a short span of time. Like, y'all, after Thanksgiving break, the day that I went back to school, the first day of classes was the last day of classes. Like, I kid you not. We had Thanksgiving break from like Wednesday to like Monday, and Monday was the last day of classes. And then after Monday was finals week up until the next week, and then we went back home the week after. And stuff like that at a private school would really irritate you because it's like, okay, you're a private school, you don't have to follow the rules of the government, just make our break longer. And as college students, you always want a long break because the semesters are so stressful, y'all. Like, I be fighting for my life, okay? This semester was very stressful, and it wasn't even school. It was everything I did outside of school. So, like, as a sophomore or junior who's very acclimated with the school already, even a senior who has capstone and all of that, like, past your freshman year, nothing's funny anymore. Freshman year was fun. I joined things. I was still getting acclimated with my classes. I got straight A's my spring semester. Like, I took all my prereqs, well, most of them. By sophomore year, I was in clubs, had meetings after class. Like, it was stressful. And now your junior year, you're on e-boards for all of these, or even your sophomore year, like end of your sophomore year, you're on e-boards for all of these clubs and organizations. So not only do you have meetings with the club, but you also have e-board meetings. So you can develop new ideas for the semesters and things like that. So it's very stressful. But that's all I have for what I wish I knew before going to a private HBCU. That was a lot of good stuff, especially the last 3 that my friend sent me. I thought that was great to implement into this video. So let me know if you guys have any questions in the comments. Engage in this video. I love helping y'all. I'll send y'all paragraphs in the comments or in DMs just helping y'all out because I want everybody to have a great college experience. So if you have any questions on Hampton, I feel like Hampton is a great school. I'm not attacking the school in any way. I love my school, wear it proudly. There's obviously going to be issues with whatever college you attend, but you just have to choose whether or not you want to deal with those issues and still be successful, or not deal with them and not be persistent. So I chose to be persistent because let me tell you something. Hampton may have its issues, but not one person I know that graduated from Hampton is not successful in their degree. So take it how you want it. Oh, and making money. Let's talk about that. So that's the type of life I'm trying to live. But I truly feel like after I graduate Hampton, I will be safe enough to say that I'll either be in grad school or applying for jobs. We're not gonna talk too much about my after plans until they actually happen. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you guys did, make sure to give it a thumbs up, comment down below, hit that post notification bell, and hit that subscribe button, and follow me on all my social medias. Text me, DM me, comment whatever questions you have, concerns, queries, conundrums, and I'll help y'all out. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I will see y'all in my next one. Peace.
Christian Dior on my body, rich bitch, I look like money. Walking, it's all eyes on me. I know it's hard to approach me, yeah. Pop my shit like bubblegum. It, girl, this vibe is 101.